So I am very grateful to be able to share some random thoughts, mainly inspired for the teachings and not only the oral teachings, but also the teachings through the living Dharma that we have been going through this training program. So I try to share some of these thoughts. And uh, I want to start with these words that I heard at the beginning of the program, where Venerable Chodron said, we are doing this with a purpose that is bigger than ourselves. And these words really speak a lot to my heart. Because I was checking what in my life, in this life, I cannot say more, but knowing that this is just a small part of our experience through many lives, but in this life, what are the things that I really regret? And I really would like not to go so astray, no, and to harm others. Exactly those things where the purpose was no bigger, was just smaller, was just for myself. And it's not because I should not have any purpose for myself. This is not the point. The point is I cannot take this as the purpose of everything that I am looking for. So I did the first Vajrasattva, 3 months Vajrasattva retreat, exactly here in the Abbey, some days ago, some years ago. And all the stuff that it was like a burden in my shoulders. I could go through it at least the first part of the first layer of all this burden, exactly in this place. And for me, it's very strong fact. Why 14 or 13 years later, I am landing here again. And for and those words that I heard, that everything we are doing here is meaningful, is powerful, is inspiring, it's really important, not just for this time, not just for myself, not just for ourselves, but it's really, really far-reaching. Then I thought, yeah, if this understanding of what is our potential, what is our capacity, what is the view that really takes out of this jail where we are putting ourselves when we just think in some purpose that are not bigger than this small self, no? So these words really, for me, are very, very, very precious. And I was asking, here there is in the appendix 3 of the book book that we were going through about the Shikshaman ordination. There is in the appendix 3 these words that say, sentient beings are obstructed by ignorance, and their minds are confused. They mistakenly divide the wonderful body of one true nature in non-sentient beings and sentient beings, non-sentient things and sentient beings, and falsely conceive the non-dual ground of awakening as the abode of self in others. So as long as we have this constricted experience of the reality, we need guidelines, because if we don't have this, then how can we move ahead with our inner potential? No? So this is another perspective that is for me very, very important, very precious that we got here, that the precepts are not like commandments, not like something that is coming from outside, kind of punishment thing, or these are the these are a way of training the mind where we get knowledge regarding what is really, really what is going on inside ourselves. Is a matter not of being obedient or being like a child. It's a matter of understanding reality in the different levels of reality. So this is a presentation of the ethical discipline, like a path of knowing that is liberating us and is awakening us, not because we are just following these rules, but because they are tools for acknowledging what is going on, what is our potential, and develop this discernment that help us to, in a more accurate way, to distinguish which one are exactly the causes that are bringing which results. No? Because this is exactly the problem when we are not clear about what we are, and that we mistake the causes. We look for a result, but we don't know the causes that brings us to this result. So these precepts are exactly that the tools that are taking us from the hand, step by step, to recognize why I am experiencing, having these experiences in my life, and then I don't look outside for these for the causes of these experiences. I am looking inside what is going on. So taking these precepts also as guardians of our mind, guardians that are taking care of us to not mistaken the causes with the results. So all this presentation of this ethical discipline, like a path of knowing, like a path of transformation, like a way of refine our conduct, like a way of thinking in about our conduct, not like some fixed thing, no, looking at ourselves not like sinners or people that needs to be under some regulation or under some external commandments, but on the contrary, like those who are capable to develop this understanding, this discernment, this wisdom that makes us to really remove all the obstacles for being able to open ourselves to the development of our capabilities. So it's really this presentation of the ethical discipline for me is something that is liberating from the beginning. Not only these perspectives, I feel that gets us a feeling of empowering, a feeling of, I want to do that. I want to know more. I want to understand this. I don't want to forget this. I want to try that. So it's from the beginning, the taste that we can feel is really very, very different to that other kind of ethical ways of and other views about the ethical conduct. So I really, I am happy to being here, learning all of these perspectives, but not only like a very profound view but also with the method step by step in order to make this view be actualized in our own conduct, physical conduct, verbal conduct, mental conduct. So it's very, very practical. At the same time, it's very vast. And this reminds me, this advice that I have heard from one of our teachers. He said, the view must be limitless, like the space, but the conduct must be finest as a powder, turmeric powder. So this is extremely beautiful. The more we understand ourselves and the reality, the more our conduct is more precise, more clear, more liberating. So it's really a very inspiring and empowering knowledge that we are received here. And I remember, I just for come to the end of this, I want to share this that we have heard about when the Buddha was in this earth. One day, two monks or some monks came to Ananda, to Venerable Ananda, and then asked him, "Is it true that the spiritual, that the friendship is important, is a part important of the spiritual path?" And Ananda said, "Yes, yes, it's actually is half of the spiritual path." And then the Buddha was close to them, and then he heard that one, and he came and said, "No, Ananda, the friendship is the totality of the spiritual path." And here at the Abbey in this program, I have felt how exactly friendship is part of the spiritual path. It's a very tangible experience and very whole and complete experience of how is it that the spiritual path is based on this understanding of friendship, where we are supporting us with the Dharma, not with the supporting our kleshas, like Venerable Tarpa said yesterday. What's the difference between the friendship in the worldly context, and what is the characteristic of the friendship in the spiritual context? So here we have received the teachings, we have received the food, we have received everything more than we can get. Actually, I was thinking, how can I go through all of this? I would like to do a very good retreat, just coming back to these topics. We have, for many, many lives, these treasures. So we have had here a taste, very deep, very vast, very profound, very fine, what is all about being friends in the spiritual path. Thank you, sir.